Hi everybody, it's Nunu, your friendly teacher guide, and my purpose in this video is to show you how to use a footnote in two different ways. All right, let's begin by reviewing what a footnote is. We see this elevated number at the end of this sentence, a 1 and a 2 here. These footnotes correspond to these notes at the foot of the page here. Okay, so this first example of a footnote is the traditional use of a footnote. We simply use it to identify a source. So let's read this sentence here in this text. According to Merkus and Strick, doctors can sometimes detect an impending exacerbation by listening to patients' speech. So I have the number 1 here and the 1 here corresponding to the foot of the page to this note. And we identify the publication that is being referred to here, Merkus and Strick. We have Julia Merkus, and we simply have a citation showing us where we can find this information. And the same is done with the second footnote here. But there is a second and very cool way to use a footnote in an essay. So let me show you that. Okay. We're going to begin with this footnote here. I have it highlighted in blue, not because it needs to be highlighted in blue, but simply to make it easily identifiable to us. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to make a footnote in Canvas. I'm going to erase this. Now this was my first footnote, so I have a number 1. I'll simply highlight that number 1. I'll come up here to the top menu to the T squared, the T with the little 2. I'll click on the down arrow and then superscript, and voila, I have my footnote. Now I'm going to highlight this footnote in blue so that it's easy to identify. All right, so what am I doing with this footnote? Let's find out. We'll begin by reading this sentence. In Thomas's story, Alan is a latchkey kid who lives in a single-parent home in a crime-ridden neighborhood, like lots of kids from low-income households, but particularly Black kids. So I'm making a contention here. I am contending or claiming that Black kids in particular suffer from this situation. But I don't want to support this contention in the body of my essay because I'm focused on another topic. This is just an incidental claim that I'm making. What can I do? I can go ahead and put support for this contention in a footnote. So I have a quote that I've extrapolated from a text. I pulled out from a text that supports this contention, and I have the source right here. So let's read this. Outside of a mental health specific practice, Black students overwhelmingly rely on their school's resources, and their needs are not being met. Per Maya Pottinger in her May 11th, 2022 Word in Black article, Schools and Black Students' Mental Health, the Kids Aren't All Right. Okay, so instead of copying this whole sentence here and putting it up above in my paragraph, I put it in a footnote because I don't want my paragraph to be cluttered, and I can do that when I am writing. So let me show you this second footnote, and let's find out what I'm doing here. Okay, so let's read this sentence with the second footnote. If Dweck conducts the research I suggest, my hunch is that she'll find that teachers need to be trained in culturally responsive teaching in order to help their students develop a growth mindset. Now, I want to define culturally responsive teaching, but I don't want to do it in this paragraph because I want to stay focused on the point I'm making. So I go ahead and I define culturally responsive teaching here. I pulled a quote from a source to help me to do that. So let's read this. Culturally responsive teaching means using students' customs, characteristics, experience, and perspective as tools for better classroom instruction. Per Madeline Will and Ileana Najarro in their April 18th, 2022 Education Week article, What is Culturally Responsive Teaching? Now, something very important that I need to point out to you about these footnotes is that in these footnotes here, they're in MLA format. They are like a citation that you would make. And in the footnotes here, I am following the exact same format. I need to be very, very consistent in what I do. So I have the quote first, then I have the writer's complete name, I have the publication date of the text from which this quote comes, I have the container in which the text is published, and I have the title of the text right here. So I follow that same format for all three of these footnotes. So you have to be very consistent with footnotes. Now, one other thing I want to show you is that you'll see that these footnotes are big 1, 2, and 3s. You can have them this way, but if you do, they need to be consistent. Or you can do what's pretty neat and simply elevate the footnotes in the air like this. MLA format, I've seen the footnotes big numbers like this and then elevated numbers. I just have a personal preference for the elevated numbers. So you can do it like this, or you can do it in the big numbers, but make sure they're consistent. Okay, who am I? I'm Nunu. I'm your friendly teacher guide, and I hope this video was helpful to you. If it wasn't, post me a note and share any suggestions with me for how to make this video better.